Regents Review number 15. In this question, they give you a function p of x equals 8,600 minus 22x. And before that function, they tell you that the employees paid an hourly rate of $22. So this is the slope or rate of change. And if they're asking you what x represents, then this would have to do with $22. And $22 is given every hour. So therefore, it's the number of hours worked per week. This question asks you which table is a linear relationship. Linear relationships have a constant rate of change, also known as a constant difference. So that means you need to be adding or subtracting the same value every time, as long as the change in the x values is constant. Right? So all of these have the same x values. They're all increasing by 1. So we can focus solely on the outputs. So this looks like it has an increase of 1, but then it has an increase of 3. So this one is out. This one here looks like it's doubling. And then I check here as well. That's a constant ratio, so that would be exponential. Here we have an increase of 2, an increase of 2, an increase of 2, again an increase of 2, so this has a constant difference. Number 3 asks you about the domain. The domain is an input. And the first thing you always ask yourself about inputs is, can it be negative? So let's see what they're talking about here. A function that predicts the number of household online devices in terms of, this is the x value, in terms of the number of people in the household. So can people be negative? No. So it can't be an integer, it can't be the set of all rational numbers, and it can't be the set of irrational numbers. Right? People cannot be partial, and they cannot be negatives. So no negatives, no partial numbers. Number 4 asks you to estimate to the nearest dollar how much more a car is worth after 2 years than 3. So we're going to use this exponential function in our graphing calculator. So on our calculator, we're going to type 25,000, and we're going to multiply it by 0.86, and the first time, we're going to raise it up to the power of 2. So, because the question says from 2 years to 3 years. So the first time, we'll raise it to the power of 2. And then the second time, copy and paste it, we'll change that exponent to a 3. And so now I have 18,490 minus 15,901.4. So I'm going to subtract 18,490 minus 15,901.4. And I'm going to get 2588.6, which rounds up to 2589. Question number 5 asks you which equation has the same y-intercept as this graph. And it looks like the y-intercept is -3. So that's the number we're looking for. And if I were to put this into slope-intercept form, I would divide this by 4 and this by 4, giving me 3 minus 3/2 x. Well, that y-intercept is positive, so this one's out. When I rearrange this statement, I get 6x minus 27, and when I divide everybody by 3, I get 2x minus 9, so that has a different y-intercept. Over here, I'm going to get 6y equals -x plus 18, and when I divide, I'm going to get y is equal to -1/6 x plus 3. Again, that's the wrong sign. And over here, if I subtract 3 from both sides, I get that negative y-intercept, -3. So option 4. Question number 6 asks you which linear equation contains both of these points and one of these other points. The fastest way I feel like to do this one would be to use the calculator. We could do it by hand and find the slope ourselves. 1 minus 11 and -2 minus 3, giving us -10 over -5. So it has a slope of 2, but then we'd have to know what that b value is in order to see if those other numbers would fit, which we could certainly use the point slope formula here. 2 times x minus 3, y minus 11 equals 2x minus 6, so y equals 2x plus 5, and then we could plug those numbers in. Or we could have just went to our stat edit list. We could have put these two numbers in to begin with. So 3 and negative 2 are our x values. And 11 and 1 are our y values. Stat, over to calc, lin reg, press enter 5 times, and there we have the same exact equation, y equals 2x plus 5. I can type that into my y equals button, 2x plus 5, and I can look at my table of points. And then I can just look. If I have the x value of 2, what is my y value? It's 9. If I was using the slope-intercept formula, I simply saw that all of these had 2 as an x, so I could have erased and replaced this with a 2, and that's where I would have gotten the 9. Number 7 asks us to set up an exponential growth equation. I see that the initial value is 3,000, and all of them have that. I see that it starts when she's 2 years old. She's investing at 2% interest compounded annually. That means growth. So this one's out. This one's out. Now I have to choose the right exponent. They want to know how much she had in the account when she turned 18, but she only started it at 2 years. So that means it was only in the account for 16 years. Number 8 talks about the prices at Carnival A and Carnival B. It asks you to use function notation, that means write a of x, to represent the total cost of attending Carnival A, which had a $6 admission charge plus $1.50 per ride. Carnival B, we'll call b of x, right, has an initial admission charge of $2.50 and then $2 per ride. The next question asks us to determine when the cost of attending each carnival is the same. So when will 6 plus 150x equal 250 plus 2x? So I'm going to subtract 150x from both sides, and that will give me 6 equals 250 plus 0.50x, and then I'm going to subtract 250 from both sides, giving me 350 equals 0.50x. Divide both sides by 0.50, and I get 7 rides. So determine the number of rides. It's 7 rides. I didn't need to use this graph because I chose to solve it algebraically. Otherwise, I could have graphed it by making a scale and seeing where the two lines intersected. Let's see, number C, letter C. She wants to go on the ride with 5 friends, determine which carnival would have the lower total cost. Okay, well, if you go to Carnival A with 5 friends, 5 rides, sorry, wants to go on 5 rides, then it's going to cost 6 plus $1.50 times 5. And if you go to Carnival B, 5 rides is $2.50 plus 2 times 5. So this one here is 10 plus 250 is $12.50. And this one here is 6 plus, this will be $7.50, $13.50. So Carnival B is the lower cost. And you have to answer the question, right? You have to say Carnival B has the lower cost. So there's my answer. And then it asks you to justify, and this math is justification. Last question asks you which destination has a median temperature above 80 degrees. So when I look at all these median lines, it looks like this is out And this is out. Then it says which one has the smallest interquartile range, which is the entire box, and that means Pelican Beach is the winner. And that concludes Regents Review 15.